this is way better. Let's see the stream. Is the audio working? Audio, check. Ba, ba, ba. So I need to check if this. Okay. Oh yeah, because if I could connect it to a speaker to check it. Oh yeah, no need for this. Okay.
I can't see. Whenever I kiss a woman, I can't see. I can like just feel her kissing me, and it's difficult, bro. So like I'm not like it's sometimes I feel more comfortable just like holding hands with a dude. I'm not
Where
gay.
is the yeah?
That's
like,
a crazy statement, bro.
no,
Like
no,
that one
no.
right there, that last statement.
He's obviously
You
calling
had me
Martin.
until you said some shit like that. Like
Yeah.
I was like, maybe
No,
this
it
might
is.
be believable,
No,
but then you said that dumb shit right there.
It's like you to understand it.
Yeah.
Hello.
Keep going there, because we don't believe you.
I don't have to convince you, but yeah, man. Sometimes it like I'm not again nothing intimate. It's just like every person like desires some like physical interaction, and like when like something like really deep down haunts you, whenever you're like being intimate or like physical or just holding hands with someone you care about and they're a woman and you're just scarred because something like that happened to you when you were younger. It's difficult, bro, and that's like I think that's why a lot of guys are messed up these days because they tell themselves, "Oh yeah, I should have enjoyed it," or "Oh yeah, that's what men want." It's not what men want, bro. It's not.
That's
like
what I want.
That's the sins of your father speaking, bro. It's the sins of your your father would tell you, "Oh yeah, good for you, buddy." No, not good for you, man. Not good for you. That shit was fucked up.
Because a real man would have just stood on business and be like, well, I can just explain to my stepmom or something that I had to.
Blue nigga, I'm not gonna shut the fuck up, bitch.
Nah, you see how dumb these people are? They don't even understand the conversation.
And the reasons getting casted for doubt, they spell out in the article. The reason they doubted, is because the New York Post was prompted to turn it into a story by Stephen Bannon, and they have reproduced unsubstantiated.
I have it was Rudy Giuliani. And then people, they were like, yo, something doesn't seem right about this.
Fuck ton of gold, and you're acting like you're the servant being given one talent. You ought to act like the servant given a bajillion talents is what Sapphire's saying. I think that's my understanding, basically.
All religions go to
Dude,
heaven.
I literally quoted, and this is from Orthodox and Heterodoxy, that all religions have the seed of revelation, and of course when Jesus enters in the world, that's the fullness of revelation, just so much as that's the fulfillment of even philosophy, that the Logos is that full truth. I'm saying prior to that, yes, humans being made in the image of God, according to even this quote here from an Orthodox scholar, that they can have divine revelation. It's just not some atheistic natural reasoning. And that's my whole point.
Yeah, but it's a red herring because nobody says this.
It makes me angry. Like, I flip out. I start getting, like, moody and stuff. It's really weird.
Is it because you're horny?
No, it's the exact opposite. It's like, when I'm horny, I'm very, very nice to people. When I'm not horny, I'm just like, I just can't handle...
Are you just, like, really gay?
When I'm horny, I'm usually only nice to about 3 people.
You guys know, the thing is, you're all repressing the fact that you all feel the exact same way I do. I'm just expressing it.
I mean,
I don't. I love being around women.
Well, I'm angry when I'm around other women, whether I'm horny or not. But that's just because women are annoying.
Whoa.
For me, it depends.
Ban, get banned. No, we can't have
that. That's misogynistic.
Guys, the president is a misogynist, confirmed.
Women are annoying, but men are equally. Like, I've had teammates that are men, and they're fucking equally annoying.
Oh, let's maybe not talk over each other, please.
No, talk over each other. No, I'm joking.
No.
Don't do it. I'm yoking.
That's my fault.
I know you and your chaotic side.
I'm going to.
I have a much strong.
Never mind.
What?
Nothing. Never mind. Just go ahead.
Yeah, I have a much more heavy preference for women because my main goal in a relationship is to make it to marriage and then raise a family.
Dude, you're gonna be sorely disappointed. All my brothers, both my brothers and my sister, all got married. They have children. It couldn't be worse for them.
That's just them. I mean, 50% of American marriages don't work out.
This is my interpretation. It's just like, I was thinking, I love dogs. I love dogs so much that, like, when I see a dog in the park, I actively go over and pet it and do all this stuff. I don't want a dog myself. The reason I don't want a dog is because I don't want to clean its shit up. And that's just like children.
Bro's just like
dogs are better than children.
I mean, maybe you're just not ready to start a family, because having like relationships and stuff like that is like, when you're serious, like that other guy was saying, that's like starting a family. You know what I mean? So like, when you want to start a family, then you can do it. But like, if you don't start a family, then.
I'm gonna be real. I've cleaned my girlfriend's like vomit up and shit before. Does that count?
It's not going to Vishnu. It's not going anywhere.
I think all other views leads to an evil god. But here's Eusebius, and he talks about that the fire, because remember, all men will taste the salt of fire, and the fire is a purification. He says there that all minds will be purified.
Related to, once again, the liberals are destroying any trust that Polish people have in Germany. So we have this institute called Institute of Witold Pilecki. Witold Pilecki is basically a Polish Captain America, but like IRL. This man went through everything. He was fighting against he was fighting in World War I. Then he was fighting against Bolsheviks. Then he was fighting against Nazis. Then he went into the concentration camp, like copied made a whole documentation for 2 years of how the whole thing looks like. Escaped from the camp, gave the information to the Allies, then went back to fight in the Warsaw Uprising. Then he was
Better I just do like a TikTok live. Yeah, that's the best thing. Do like a TikTok live, and those who want to join, you can join. see if I switch it to front. Okay. Yeah, so the best way is just to love you the phone.
Why do you Ivan users willingly scam?
McDonald's wants. I am calling out a creator. You know exactly who you are because we just talked, and I know that you're going to be watching this. For those of you who know me, you know I don't post content like this. I don't really like to dabble in drama. Also, I don't really appreciate call-out content.
Do you know that oil companies get about 15 to 30 billion?
So last week I read and finished your.
If I crash into her, I unalive her. Okay? My studies are the.
Fucking girls now.
What's this payment in?
This man
Vegeta? What are Franklin Saint's GOAT moments? Franklin Saint GOAT moments. There's so many. Because I was a G on that show. I'm gonna give you 4. Number 1's gotta be the brick by brick scene. Because I see so many kids doing it online and it always makes me laugh. I love the bodies scene where I was 2 Franklins because I was only able to do it in 1 take. But I think what we created was great. I love.
This is a message to any journalists in the UK. I've already done your job for you. So everybody today who's arguing about the data that Nigel Farage, Robert Jenrick, Kemi Badenoch are talking about when it comes to sexual crimes in London with foreign nationals, I already debunked it with my friend Sneaker on this app. But for some reason, you guys don't actually do any investigative work, and you would find out if you did that the data.
Okay, so in the face of mass media and politicians, is British culture shifting further to the right? And if so, are politicians just a symptom of that rather than the cause? I can see why you'd think that, because a lot of the rhetoric does make it.
This is a. Hi everyone, I'm Damian Blue.
Hey Anthony.
How beautiful you are, my darling. Oh, how beautiful. Your eyes are doves. You are altogether beautiful, my darling. There is no flaw in you. You have stolen my.
Yeah. Did you see this Jubilee debate with Mehdi Hassan?
Enough of it.
What did you think?
I mean, the whole thing.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Did you see that the U.S. actually bombed Iran today?
Yeah, I saw that.
What do you think about that?
It's classic dictator strategy. Just trying to start a war to distract from all the shit going on in the country. Distracts the media, first of all, because they're all talking about, World War III is going to pop off. And it takes away media attention from the protests going on, from the economy tanking.
What do you think this is going to lead to now that we've attacked them?
On one hand, Iran can't really do anything about it, and from a strategic standpoint, Russia can't really do anything about it either. They've spent all of their military power in Ukraine thanks to the Biden administration and their handling of that. So there's not really just unnecessary to start with and could cause a lot of issues economically. Iran currently controls the Strait of Hormuz, which is the water passage thing.
Hey, Anthony.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Texas lawmakers leaving the state in protest?
Project Esther has basically three goals. The first is to use the surveillance state, both existing and this idea of this kind of tech surveillance.
Hey, Anthony.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Corporation of Public Broadcasting shutting down?
It's really sad, you know? The CPB. In the city, maybe you should drive your car. Pick up whenever you call.
Hey, Anthony.
Yeah.
What do you think about Kamala Harris's announcement that she will not be running for California governor?
I think that's probably the right choice.
Hey, Anthony.
Yeah.
Hey, Anthony. Hey, Anthony. Hey, Anthony.
Yeah.
Hey, Anthony. Hey, Anthony.
Yeah.
Can I have some students?
Him to say, oh, flesh should have peaked.
Take it off with some pepper.
I can't lie, is it just me? You're able to identify who's Nigerian, who's Congolese, who's Ghanaian, who's Jamaican, etc. But you can't identify who is Cameroonian. I swear to you, I have 6 Cameroonian friends, boys and girls. You can't. There's no resemblance between the genders, bro. Like the men don't look like the men don't have this type of features to say yeah they're from Cameroon. Neither do the females, bro. Like genuinely, I was saying this to my private story. Cameroonian people are like the pick and mix sweets. They're just random. Cause you pick out one, it's random. They don't look alike, bro. They don't look alike. Like, I can't lie. Is it just me? You're able to identify who's Nigerian, who's Congolese, who's Ghanaian, who's Jamaican, etc. But you can't identify who is Cameroonian. I swear to you, I have 6 Cameroonian friends, boys and girls. You can't. There's no resemblance between the genders, bro. Like the men don't look like the men don't have this type of features to say yeah they're from Cameroon. Neither do the females, bro. Like genuinely, I was saying this to my private story. Cameroonian people are like the pick and mix sweets. They're just random. Cause you pick out one, it's random. They don't look alike, bro. They don't look alike. Like, I can't lie. Is it just me? You're able to identify who's Nigerian, who's Congolese, who's Ghanaian, who's Jamaican, etc. But you can't identify who is Cameroonian. I swear to you, I have 6 Cameroonian friends, boys and girls. You can't. There's no resemblance between the genders, bro. Like the men don't look like the men don't have this type of features to say yeah they're from Cameroon. Neither do the females, bro. Like genuinely, I was saying this to my private story.
Oh, you want? So I learn a bit about like what you're doing here and what's going on. How come you're living here in tents?
This is how I'd imagine the plan for that video likely went down. Look, Chris, our party's in the dumps, and our leader's trying to spend more time figuring out whether or not she's Nigerian than being a leader of the opposition. Don't worry, I've got it. Do you know what voters really need to see more of? Go on, Chris, please, enlighten us. Harassment of homeless people. Yeah, Chris, I'm not sure. Nah, you're right, not insensitive enough. New plan. Let's find a homeless group of migrants who can barely speak English. Right. And while they're rightfully telling me and my huge camera crew to leave, I'll simply respond with, it's not racist to ask questions. No, Chris, you're missing the point again. The British people want a party that seems to care about the working class. But I thought the only way to get votes was to blame everything on migrants. Gee, I wonder, what could have given him that impression?
So I learn a bit about like what you're doing here and what's going on. How come you're living here in tents?
This is how I'd imagine the plan for that video likely went. Hit that follow button. Now, look, Chris, our party's in the dumps, and our leader's trying to spend more.
So I learn a bit about like what you're doing here and what's going on. How come you're living here in tents?
This is how I'd imagine the plan for that video likely went down. Look, Chris, our party's in the dumps, and our leader's trying to spend more time figuring out whether or not she's Nigerian than being a leader of the opposition. Don't worry, I've got it. Do you know what voters really need to see more of? Go on, Chris, please, enlighten us. Harassment of homeless people. Yeah, Chris, I'm not sure. Nah, you're right, not insensitive enough. New plan. Let's find a homeless group of migrants who can barely speak English. Right. And while they're rightfully telling me and my huge camera crew to
I'll simply respond with, it's not racist to ask questions. No, Chris, you're missing the point again. The British people want a party that seems to care about the working class, but I thought the only way to get votes was to blame everything on migrants. Gee, I wonder, what could have given him that impression? So I'd like to learn a bit about what you're doing here and what's going on. How come you're living here in tents? This is how I'd imagine the plan for that video likely went down. Look, Chris, our party's in the dumps, and our leader's trying to spend more time figuring out whether or not she's Nigerian than being a leader of the opposition. Don't worry, I've got it. Do you know what voters really need to see more of? Go on, Chris, please. Enlighten us. Harassment of homeless people. Yeah, Chris, I'm not sure. Nah, you're right. Not insensitive enough. New plan. Let's find a homeless group of migrants who can barely speak English. Right. And while they're rightfully telling me and my huge camera crew to leave, I'll simply respond with, it's not racist to ask questions. No, Chris, you're missing the point again. The British people want a party that seems to care about the working class, but I thought the only way to get votes was to blame everything on migrants. Gee, I wonder, what could have given him that impression? So I'd like to learn a bit about what you're doing here and what's going on. How come you're living here in tents? This is how I'd imagine the plan for... On a scale of...
So we cut this bikini, it's far.
Up to 1,000 people could be arrested in London this weekend for supporting Palestine Action, and they're the estimated numbers that we have so far. Defend Our Juries is an organisation who is protesting the prescription of Palestine Action and also protesting what is happening in Gaza to Palestinians. And their plan is to simply overwhelm the policing system and overwhelm the justice system. Now, Palestine Action is still currently going through the court process, and we actually won't know the outcome of their prescription and whether it was legal or not until November. Until then, Defend Our Juries is going to continue doing this. What's interesting, and I haven't checked in the last few days if this has changed, is that of the 200 people so far who have been arrested for supporting Palestine Action since it was prescribed, they still haven't had charges formally pushed against them, which is very interesting because it's almost like the government is hesitating to drag these people through the criminal justice system just in case they don't get prescribed, because it will, cost lots of money, it will cause lots of issues. Also, in the court case, when Palestine Action took the government to court, the reason the judge moved the case forward and allowed a judicial review is simply because he doesn't want the courts to get bogged down with each applicant basically trying to appeal on the fact that they shouldn't be classed as terrorists. And this is probably the reason why the UK government hasn't actually brought charges against these people. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't found any cases where people have been formally charged, but it is very interesting. Up to 1,000 people could be arrested in London this weekend for supporting Palestine Action, and they're the estimated numbers that we have so far. Defend Our Juries is an organisation who is protesting the prescription of Palestine Action and also protesting what is happening in Gaza to Palestinians. And their plan is to simply overwhelm the policing system and overwhelm the justice system. Now, Palestine Action is still currently going through the court process, and we actually won't know the outcome of their prescription and whether it was legal or not until November. Until then, Defend Our Juries is going to continue doing this. What's interesting, and I haven't checked in the last few days if this has changed, is that of the 200 people so far who have been arrested for supporting Palestine Action since it was prescribed, they still haven't had charges formally pushed against them, which is very interesting because it's almost like the government is hesitating to drag these people through the criminal justice system just in case they don't get prescribed, because it will, cost lots of money, it will cause lots of issues. Also, in the court case, when Palestine Action took the government to court, the reason the judge moved the case forward and allowed a judicial review is simply because he doesn't want the courts to get bogged down with each applicant basically trying to appeal on the fact that they shouldn't be classed as terrorists. And this is probably the reason why
he finds Whitebeard. Shanks goes to Whitebeard.
You're kind of cute.
Attack on Titan is insane.
He also pled guilty to the crime.
Yeah, I'm talking about what happened last week.
You get an abortion before 6 weeks.
Charlie Kirk debated college.
It doesn't feel anything.
It doesn't feel anything.
Also, I'd like to...
Wait, hold on. Do you think abortions after 6 weeks are wrong?
Yeah, abortions after 6 weeks.
Charlie Kirk debated...
What percentage of abortions do you think happen?
There's a flat, but it's better than...
We don't have conspiracy theories right now.
No, these aren't theories.
Ué.
Deixa eu usar.
Bateu caralho essa vagabunda, agora eu vou te
with migrants, and you also magical video.
No, I know. Don't think. I know.
Oh, but it's because you said think beforehand. Because
your own cutoff, you would be against 99.5% of all abortions.
Yeah, but I'm not against them. I haven't said that I'm fully
You just said
against
that it's
them.
wrong. You just said it's wrong.
No, no, no. There's obviously situations where you. So if a woman is unaware that she's pregnant by 6.
Have a good day. Let's move on. Only send a request if you disagree. We're just looking for some debates. You had absolutely no pushback. You had no argument. So backtracking. Yeah, backtracking real quick. Guys, let's double tap on that phone screen. Let's get those likes up to 50,000. Only send a request if you actually have a coherent defense of the pro-choice worldview, and you're not going to say that you think abortion's wrong after 6 weeks. And then, sorry, yeah, she said that she thinks abortion is wrong 6 weeks or above, but then when we investigated her view, she quickly was saying that it's not wrong after 6 weeks. She didn't sufficiently answer the binge drinking question. She fell apart. Her entire view was full of contradictions and absurdities, and it simply just didn't have any explanatory power. Hi, how old are you?
19.
Okay, you pro-choice?
Yes.
Okay, what's the argument?
It's pro-choice. I think. Sorry. So, my question is, why do you really care? You're not the one carrying the baby. You're not the one at risk. Why do you?
Trafficking victims or people who are victims of child marriage. Like, it doesn't affect me in any way, and under your view, I shouldn't really care. But I care because I have empathy for certain groups of human beings who are oppressed and are vulnerable and get violated by other people.
Okay, okay, perfect. I like that. But what I don't like is that you're bringing in organ trafficking, human trafficking, anything like that, marriage at young ages. I don't like that you're bringing that into the argument because that doesn't really have anything to do with this.
Did you not hear? Are you not tracking the conversation? I'll repeat what you said. Why do you care about abortion? It doesn't affect you. Yeah, neither does human trafficking, neither does child marriage. I still care about those things, but they don't affect me in any way. The reason I care is because I have empathy. So, the point of the response was not comparing abortion to human trafficking, although the abortion industry does actually do a lot of that. But anyway, they actually sell baby parts. But the point of the response was to just explain to you that we all care about things that have no impact on us directly. Whether it's the great victim across the road, whether it's the person who got beat up at school, whether it's the person who is in the Middle East getting bombed right now. We still recognize these things are evil, and the ability to experience them ourselves don't take away from that ability to understand it's evil.
Okay. My second argument would be the fact, like, a lot of women, they abort their child because they just simply do not have money. They are really deep in with drugs, because that's obviously a problem. Addiction is real. So, drugs, they don't have money. It's an unsafe situation. Like, say, like, your husband is abusive and you don't want to have that baby be born into this world. And I also want to bring up the fact that I do not support.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Yeah, sorry.
All those reasons that you just gave, like, all those reasons that you just gave, every single one, you're poor, your boyfriend's abusive, I don't think any human being should be killed for those reasons.
Given the same effect as
let's say if imagine I was
able to do that.
Dans le sujet pour la simple et bonne raison que à côté il y avait sa femme. Donc c'est difficile de critiquer comment dirais-je
Guys, bullies are so ugly.
Miles sobe a demo, bota eu e o
Yeah. Darling.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Nice. So what are you guys talking about?
We're just
just talking about life pretty much and like what goes on in the server and how it can affect people positively, negatively.
Yeah, I mean this server, like, I was here because I wanted to debate politics and stuff, but like, it's so toxic, you know.
Well, it is, and honestly, politics is a toxic place in general. So I wouldn't just say in this server, but politics in general is full of toxicity and evilness. So, you know, we just have to trust that people are doing the right things. So, you know, because again, not everybody believes in necessarily what is right.
Yeah. But
So,
politically
you know,
speaking, where do you guys lie? Are you guys like liberals, conservative? I don't know. Well,
I do support liberalism. Absolutely, I support liberalism.
like classical liberalism or far left?
Progressive liberalism, I
So
would say, in a way.
Okay.
I
So
believe
do
in
you
that,
watch?
you know, social.
Do you watch all this Hassan Piker and all these people?
No. I don't really
I'm
watch all those things. I honestly just believe in the core values of like liberalism and things like that in certain ways, shapes, or form. I do agree with some conservative things, you know, because again, not every, you know, liberal system is correct. Not every democratic system or Republican system is correct.
Yeah,
you
but
know,
I would argue that
so it's kind
I would argue that there are more liberal things that are correct than conservative things, because most conservative things lead to far right tendencies. So,
well, yeah, I don't really believe in far right things, to be honest. I'm a Democrat, so
yeah,
I don't know.
I feel like
It all
Democrats in America are like very different to, like, let's say the average like left leaning person in the, because I live in the UK, I don't live in America, and like most parties in the UK are pretty center left. We have very few, but the only parties that are like really far right, like Republican parties and stuff like that, like they don't get any media coverage. They're very unpopular, and you know, I'm quite surprised how most Americans are like. I'm surprised how Americans were able to vote for Republicans, because like even for Europeans, Republicans are too far right. So
Yeah.
it's interesting.
It's definitely, I would say, it's definitely hard to differentiate it and break it down because do I believe that this man should be our president? Currently, absolutely not. And this man is only our president because of the consequences of our country and the consequences of what people decided to go and do. So
Yeah, but don't you think that Biden, like, don't you know if Biden left the race earlier and he gave it to like a center left guy, like not Kamala, but if it was like a Pete Buttigieg or maybe even the governor of California or something, don't you think that it would have been a better situation?
No, because at the end of the day, Kamala stepped up, and that is what she was supposed to do. As the vice president, as the leader of the Democratic Party at that point in time and moment, she was supposed to rightfully step up. Now, I don't believe this had anything to do with the candidate. The bottom line is they did not want a woman as a president in this country. Every time I have asked someone why they did not want Kamala Harris to win, they said because she's a woman. She's a woman, and that's what it is. She's a woman.
So do you think that? So do you think that like misogyny when it comes to the glass ceiling in America? Do you think it's still a very big issue, or I don't know?
Absolutely. Because Kamala Harris didn't win, it's not because she was black. It was just because she was a woman. It was literally because she was a woman.
Yeah.
They did not want this woman running this country. They don't believe a woman. I mean, and again, I'm saying that it has nothing to do with her being black because they did the same thing with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
When Hillary Clinton ran. They said because she was a woman. So it's a pattern with women. It's also been a pattern with women in politics, period.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, these people, they have their patterns. So
yeah, I think there's also like the fact that, like, you know, a lot of her policies were becoming very unpopular because of, I think that, like, America, like a lot of Americans, like the left wing media space is not very, I don't know how to explain it. The left wing media space is very consumed with like there is no true left wing. Like they all try to pander to like far right perspectives and stuff like that. I think that's one of the issues, because like if there was like a true left wing in America, these things won't be happening, because a lot of them will talk about like, because when right wingers talk about, oh, immigration, migrants are doing this and that, instead of left wingers saying that like, oh, this is not the issue, we have other things that we can focus on, they actually just pander to them, and I think that's what's causing a lot of these situations. But that's my perspective anyway. I don't think it's the same everywhere, but there's definitely an issue in America with pandering to the far right, definitely.
yeah, there's something wrong with them. It's a losing game. So
Yeah.
I don't really know, but they're a bunch of crazy people. So I don't know.
Do you think that like the next elections is gonna like swing in your favor next time? The midterms, I think. Is
It
next year?
should. It should, because going forward, I don't know how this country could vote for Republican going forward with the policies, with all of the funding, the cuts of Medicaid, etc. in states. You know, the Medicaid being cut from the most vulnerable people in this country. You know, I believe that I don't see how they could vote for these people again.
Yeah.
I don't see how. Because
yeah,
again,
but the issue
with
is
this election.
Yeah, but the issue is gerrymandering, though. Don't you see what's going on in Texas? Like, the Republicans are trying to redistrict the voting sectors in Texas, and Democrats literally had to flee the state so that they should not be able to pass the legislation.
Yeah. It is absolutely ridiculous, and this is part of the problem in this country, and this is why I don't understand how they could vote blue, how they could not vote blue going forward, because this is getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
And I think what people are starting to realize is, no matter your religion, your race, or your culture, or your belief, at the end of the day, we will all be affected by this administration. We will all be affected by this gerrymandering. We will all be affected by the big beautiful bill and all of these things. Everyone's going to be affected, because everyone's like, yeah, you know, we can just, you know, get him out of office, and even if we impeach him, what people need to understand is that this country still has to live with the consequences after this man is no longer president. After, and it's really the aftermath that is really bad, because that aftermath is a whole bunch of recovery. So the next president of the United States, other than Donald Trump, the whole 4 years will be recovering from this administration. It'll be recovering.
Yeah, but don't you think it's the same argument that Republicans use? Remember when Barack Obama left with a very good economy, and Trump started taking credit that, oh, this is my economy and stuff like that? Don't you think that they are literally doing the same thing? Because like I feel like saying that to
be fair, Barack Obama's term, his 8 years as president, was nothing. Nothing like what this administration is like. From the year because the year 2000 was the new century. From the year 2000 up to now, for the past 25 years that we've been in this new century of our 20s, we have never seen an administration this bad. And I know people could say, yeah, Bush was a bad president, but even Bush was not as bad as this. There's been no president since the year 2000, since this year 2000 started, from the year 2000 to 2025, there has never been a president that is this bad. There's never been an administration that is this bad.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's spiraling out of control is what's killing me, because no one has answer. Like no one has answers.
The issue is okay, but the issue is not just him though. Like there's also APAC and other right wing like it's not just him that I mean he's the main problem, but also there are a lot of Republicans. Even if Trump leaves, there's still a lot of Republicans who believe in this like APAC stuff. And
because part of the problem is every person that is running a federal government agency currently is unqualified. That's part of the problem right there. Yeah. Every person that is running a federal government agency is unqualified. They have fired people working in the federal government sectors. They have fired lawyers, judges, attorneys. They have vetted every federal government agency. Every federal government agency of doctors, the scientists, the lawyers, the paralegals, our corporate executives. All of these people have lost their jobs. And then they cherry-picked and hand-picked who it is they wanted to go in there. Not who the people wanted to go in there. They picked who they felt should be in there.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened.
And that's the problem. They're not qualified. They are not qualified. These people, it is ridiculous that, our scientists that were qualified and all these people have lost their jobs so wrongfully. And yet now we're seeing is that now the people that they've hired, they're unable to provide any sort of data, resources. I'm confused. Because if you're telling me, when these secretaries are testifying and, they're asking for data and they're like, we don't have it. Well, why don't you have it? If you have these people working, where is it? What are they doing?
I mean, right. I mean, I kind of agree, but I kind of agree with what you're saying, but I think that like one of the main things that made Democrats especially lose a lot of momentum was especially this immigration thing, because even back in the 60s, 50s, I checked a lot of Democrats that are very left-leaning, that they support like LGBT everything, they were still very against like illegal immigration. And like when this immigration thing started spiraling out, a lot of Republicans were like, they were just literally just fear-mongering on people and like, oh, they're eating the dogs and all this bullshit. And we all know that like across the board, most Americans, whether you are like a Democrat, Republican, most Americans don't like what immigration has done to like very like small rural communities and stuff like that. So I feel like the immigration issue was not well treated, and that is also what caused the shift in the voting tendencies as well. Don't you agree? Or
yeah, I guess you could say that, but I just the fact that our government has made immigration this top priority, and then I don't really care too much for immigration, because as our director of Homeland Security has stated, these illegal immigrants are still not, committing the same amount of crime as the average American. So I'm confused. I mean, if they're not, I understand coming in this country illegally is, it is a crime, but these people have habeas corpus and etc. And then our director of Homeland Security doesn't even know what habeas corpus is. So that's how I know they're not receiving due process. Because if you don't even know what habeas corpus is, how can you say that these people are getting habeas corpus if you don't know what it is? And American citizens have been deported as well, and I think that's also a problem. So I'm not sure. That's why it's racial profiling. ICE is not doing their job properly. That's why they should not be the, highest funded government agency at this point in time and moment.
I don't know. I think you should just be along for the ride, yeah?
I should what?
Just be along for the ride, yeah?
Along for the ride of what?
This isn't happening to you. It's not happening to anyone you know, right?
I mean, that's okay. That is not the point. The point of the matter is, if Congresswoman asked our Director of Homeland Security if any American citizens have been deported, and she said yes. She said yes. That is an issue. Because that means you're not even following the own rules of your own department. And I want to know, how are they coming along so far in the system for them to be deported off of American soil if they are American citizens and they have legal American status, American citizenships, and passports? How are they being deported? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
And if that is what's going on, and they're also terminating work visas, that also goes against their policy of their department. It also, again, you have to understand, it's like everyone's two-faced and everybody's talking out of the side of their mouth, because our president is opening his mouth and saying, yeah, come to this country legally. Okay, that's fine. So then why are people that are coming in this country legally being deported? He's saying one thing and she's doing another thing and saying another thing. So it's government versus government. So this is nothing. It has nothing to do with the people at this point in time and moment. And it speaks to the volumes of how wicked these people are.
Can you give me a case? Sorry, can you give me a case of someone who came in legally that was deported? I don't really remember. Except.
You said what?
Can you give me like cases of people who came in legally and were deported? I'm just not familiar.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia. That probably was the biggest case that was across our Senate and across our House of Representatives. When they falsely deported him, he was an American citizen. That's part of the issue, because see, ICE is racially profiling people, because it doesn't matter what you look like. And then she, our own director said, the way that they speak to, it leads to suspicion and we have to check them out. Okay, that's fine. So what about our first lady who could barely speak English? If she sounds like an immigrant to me, so maybe she should be checked out too, right? Because we have to be consistent across the board. Just like, our director stated that, there's still people in this country from when Ronald Reagan was president. So if people are still here, they must go back too, correct? We have to be consistent. Everybody must go back then. Everybody.
Yeah, this immigration thing, it's well, my hope is that
and also currently, they've moved from immigration and they've made Epstein files a top priority. So I don't understand how these things that are really not that important are being prioritized. That is absolutely ridiculous, because once again, here's the government versus government.
Wait, don't you think the Epstein files are very important, though?
No, I don't. Because, hold on, I'll tell you why. Donald Trump says they don't exist, but the woman he put as the Attorney General says that they do, and that he is on the list. So, I'm confused, because what we've seen with the DOJ is that our entire DOJ was actually vetted. So all the lawyers and attorneys and paralegals and criminal investigators, forensic scientists that were all working on Trump's cases and all of this and trying to prosecute him and deal with him, they no longer have their job. So those people that are currently working in the DOJ were handpicked by Donald Trump and our U.S. Attorney General.
Yeah, that makes sense, but shouldn't Democrats be interested in what is behind the files? Because if there's like a lot of dirt on Trump there, then it's still a good thing. And two, a lot, like they said, there are cases of human trafficking, and a lot of corruption.
I don't think that
AIPAC, Israel lobby, like there are so many things there are just so many things that like correlates with the whole.
You know what it is though?
File situation.
The Democrats voted yes to release them. Republicans voted no. So we've seen that pattern. The same day that the Attorney General said that the files don't exist is when the Republicans blocked the vote to release the files the first time. Then the second time, Democrats actually got the majority of the vote there, and we were able to get that vote, so they now have to release them. Now, in the same sentence that our Attorney General stated that the files didn't exist, she said that they were on her desk. So this woman actually messed up her job. You know, she was sent in there to cover up the files. She did everything but that. She actually exposed it, and she did it by an accident. She wasn't supposed to. And what we've seen is that it's a pattern of, you know, our government, they're talking out of the side of their mouth. You know, the DOJ saying one thing, FBI saying another, the Attorney General saying another thing, then Donald Trump is saying another thing. And now, we've seen that Ghislaine Maxwell will be testifying before Congress this month. She'll be testifying.
That's if she makes it alive.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. She probably won't. Because what they want is her to say that Donald Trump is not on there.
Didn't Trump say he was going to pardon her or something?
He did. Yeah. He said he'll pardon her. If she were to, say that, he's not on there. And then they'll kill her like they killed Jeffrey Epstein, because even the video what the DOJ and FBI released about what happened to him, I want to know when it happened, why did the camera just stop?
But ultimately, the real question is, what are you going to do about it?
Listen, I don't have to do anything about it. When the Republicans and their president can figure out their files, because Donald Trump stated he would release them because they do exist. Okay. So just like Marjorie Taylor Greene said, he said, this was a test, a loyalty test for, Mr. President Trump. So they used this as a loyalty test for him to see if they would get him what they want. And they did not give him, he did not give his people what they want, which are these files that he stated existed.
Well, yeah, we all know that the elites will do like they'll press them into doing illegal things so that they can use that as ammo against them if they go against the cabal. I know that, but that's what I'm trying to tell you is unless someone's gonna do something about it, then they're just gonna keep doing it. So there's no point in
Well, again, I mean, these are the problem is these are all of his people, the people that he's put to run our government agencies and etc. and handles these investigations have openly stated that he is on the Epstein list, he's on this, he's on that. So it just doesn't make any sense to me.
You can pretty much expect like any politician and celebrity to be on that list.
Again, yeah, that's not the point. I mean, because if I'm gonna be quite frank with you, I just personally feel like if Joe Biden was on the list would have been out from 3 weeks ago. So I'm not sure. I don't know. It just feels like like they have something to hide. And even our DOJ, it's like they want to release him. They're saying that yeah, he does, he's on him, but it's like what's going on? Are you gonna release them? Are you gonna let Donald Trump know like what's going on? And the fact that they've made that a top priority is an issue. And again, there's other things going on that need to be prioritized than this, because this is really not important. But they've made it important because now it's like, well, he lied to his people. Because Joe Biden
they made it important so they can distract you from other issues. And actually, Biden is on the list. It's just that the liberals are more likely to believe what they're told, so they actually have a different dynamic going on with that.
Well, again, the difference is Joe Biden or Kamala Harris didn't promise us any sort of files. I mean, Donald Trump didn't promise me anything because I didn't vote for him. He promised his constituents that. So I'm not sure. Again, like the Republicans stated, this was a loyalty test. So if it was a loyalty test, then what does that tell you? I'm not sure. Again, but it's government versus government because everyone's talking out of the side of their mouth. So when the Republicans can figure out with their president that they voted for, when they can figure out their files and all what's going on, then we can really get to something that's going on in our government. Because it's absurd that, again, these files, they have made it a top priority, and it does not need to be. It doesn't need to be. And Republicans are, very upset at the fact that he lied to them, I guess. Because why would you say we're going to release the files if they didn't exist, supposedly? So, sure. I mean, hell, he's the one that had a 25-year plus friendship with the man. I didn't, so...
Yeah, I mean, the only reason why I'm interested in those fairs is because there's a lot of black. I believe there's a lot of blackmailing going on there with APAC and like the Jewish lobby and stuff like that. So I think I think it's an interesting.
Of course, but you have to understand this current government is in cahoots with Jewish people in Israel, and so they're not going to.
Yeah, I was quite surprised that even AOC, who is pro-Palestine, like she didn't vote to cancel the APAC bullshit. Both Democrats and Republicans are APAC cum guzzlers.
Well, I mean, you have to understand, everybody has their hands tied. Because it's like, if you vote for something, it'll still be bad. If you vote against something, it'll still be bad.
It's just all bad. Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's a losing game. No matter however you vote, it's always going to end up in chaos. So.
All I hear is a bunch of Jew hating.
Yeah,
Jew hating? Are you Jewish? Maybe that's why you're kind of offended. I mean, there is a Jewish lobby in America. Nobody's denying that. What?
Muslims thought it would rape, kill, murder anyone Jewish people, do something. Oh, it's genocide, even though history says Muslims do it all the time. I know the stories of it. I just read history books.
And something I will say, which I've noticed with a lot of MAGA people, is everything, and I don't agree with this, that everything is like, oh, it's the Jews, the Jews did 9/11, oh, the Jews are behind the immigration, the Jews are in our federal government agencies, the Jews, everything, they make it as if it's these Jewish people, and it's like, no, these are American people. I was in here, I was talking to someone, they were like, yeah, all these school shooters, they've been Jewish men in disguise. I was like, oh my God, people are so, it's actually scary to me. It's scary to me that they would say that.
Yeah, but it's not. Hold on. It's not conspiracies though. The Jewish lobby is a real thing. I don't know why you are so like so obtuse to that. Like it's not conspiracy. Like there's
no, I didn't think that it was a conspiracy. I said, but to sit here and blame every single thing on Jewish people is insane. This is exact. So I just want to let you know, our current vice president stated that Donald Trump would be our next Hitler. And if you look at the comparisons between Adolf Hitler and Donald Trump, there's really no differences. Donald Trump blames every American issue on immigrants. Hitler blamed every issue in Germany on Jewish people. Hitler propagated an insurrection on Germany. Donald Trump propagated an insurrection on this country. So,
are you trashing our great president?
I don't know who.
Definitely is not a great president.
I don't know.
Are you talking about Obama?
I mean, I don't know who our president is. I mean, if we're going to be honest, even the way that, since the elections were all stolen and etc., I mean, to these people, the last legit president was Barack Obama, because they said Biden's terms were fraud and all that. So Donald Trump said the last legit administration was the Obama administration. So I don't understand. These people are just sick. They're very sick, and January 6th was a real thing, and these people propagated an insurrection on this country and then were pardoned. So it speaks to the level.
January 6th was a bunch of they were patriots in January 6th.
And yeah, because Donald Trump is one. So now what?
Donald Trump needs to run for a third term.
Hey, bro, do you know what the amendments state, bro? Is that can you do that? What does the Constitution? I can't even speak. What does the Constitution say, bro? You go for 3 terms, bro?
Don't even list the Constitution, because Republicans don't believe in the Constitution because they haven't.
I need him to tell me, bro. Jay, bro, you talking all this craziness about another man, bro. What does the Constitution say? Can any president go for a 3rd term, bro?
Donald Trump can.
Nah, that's not what the Constitution says.
He had
bro.
it stolen from him in 2020.
That's not what the Constitution say, bro.
Trump had the election stolen from him.
Okay.
Alright, bro.
What
So,
the hell?
so is that why he propagated an insurrection on this country?
It wasn't an insurrection. They were patriots trying to take back the country.
Okay, so my thing is this. So busing in the Capitol, running through the House of Representatives and flipping the whole Congress up. That's not an insurrection. Breaking in people's offices, flipping over senators and congressmen's desks. That's not violent to you?
Well,
Federal flags.
that was needed.
Yeah, okay. So my question is, if Republicans and Democrats were rushed out of the building to a safe zone, why do you think that is?
Why was it needed? It was needed because they were trying to force our great leader out.
Who's your great leader?
But something that rings a bell to me, if I remember January 6th
Hey,
properly.
bro, this dude just trolling.
I remember
think he's
if
trolling.
it rings the bell in my ear. I remember the same man that they put as their vice president. They went up there and they said, "Hang Mike Pence." So explain that to me. What was the "Hang Mike Pence" about? Because I think it was violence.
Because he refused. He was gonna let Biden and Sleepy Joe and Kamala Harris become president and vice president. He should have listened to Donald Trump, who knows his stuff.
Right. When you're
Is he trolling? I can't tell.
I don't know, but I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. I don't know, but I'm a Christian. And when I seen that man got shot, I had to beg God to forgive me for what I really felt in my heart.
Trump is the modern day Abraham Lincoln.
No. You know what is
How
sad
is he
to me?
Abraham Lincoln?
You know what's sad to me is that your people went up there on January 6th and you guys refer to this man as Jesus and your orange Jesus, and that is sickening.
Orange Jesus is crazy.
That you worship
Damn,
this
dude,
man.
you guys glorified a pedophile? That's crazy.
Yes, they do.
He's not.
The guy is literally
pedophile.
verified pedophile. Not only is he a pedophile, he's freeing pedophiles. He's helping pedophiles out.
That's fake news. Fake
Ghislaine
What do you mean fake
Maxwell.
news? He's
You mean
literally-
Israel?
Maxwell is literally he moved her to a better prison, like a lower level security prison, and he wants to pardon her. And when asked about her, he wished her well. He wished a convicted pedophile, smuggler, child trafficker well. So yeah, dude, you're worshiping a actual pedophile. That's crazy.
Ghislaine Maxwell is innocent.
Bro, hey.
He's trolling.
He's trolling, bro.
He's trolling, yeah.
Angelise, why are you entertaining this? Kick dude from the chat. Come on.
He's trolling. Just
tripping.
ignore him.
Oh my God, that's so funny. That's a funny one. I've heard all that. She's innocent.
Ain't no point in arguing with stupidity, bro. I ain't to entertain that stuff, bro.
Yeah, these people are very funny. I will say that they're like very funny, and I don't know how anybody.
Trump
could've-
supporters are funny? Nah.
Huh?
You
I do
mean
believe that his supporters are funny.
you mean
just
you
like
mean
they're fake and
trolls?
phony as hell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his supporters are fake and phony as hell. Just like all those white people stood up and they were like, "Oh my God, we didn't think he would do this to us too." Please, what? Like, I'm confused. Because I mean, if I recall, there were conservative and Republican red states that were protesting along with blue states. So, sure what's going on. But anyways, Zay, how was your day?
Day's good. What about you?
It's great. Great.
Yo, Zay, what's the better time to do the Bible study? Cause I need.
Honestly, bro, I'll be waking up late, bro. So probably like sometime in the afternoon before 4, cause 4 is when I work out, bro.
Alright, we'll figure something out. Cause I want to do a Bible study still.
Nah, yeah, I gotta get on. Get on that too, bro.
I just gotta figure out the right time to have everybody on. Cause I got a friend in the UK. He says he can't do it in the mornings either.
But just program it around his time, then whenever it's good for him, bro. Cause we all have a similar time zone, bro. But he got something different, so whatever time's cool for bro.
But isn't it like nighttime right now over there?
Yeah, but he works during the day, so when I was thinking 8, it would be like 2 his time. But he said that's too early. So
Well, that would be for me, for us too, because I mean, we go to, people have work in school, so like.
Yeah.
Well, people don't got school yet though. That's the thing. School don't start till late August, early September.
Well, I go back to work full time on the 25th, so.
That's late August.
It's mid-August.
That the 25th is not mid-August.
So how about
How you gonna be an associate principal and you don't even know flipping the 25th is late August? That's crazy. Go ahead and revoke her job, Board of Education.
No, the board of ed loves me because they know that I'm amazing for the school.
Oh, okay, amazing for the school, but say the 25th is middle of August.
Well, I was the one that improved the graduation rates. Nobody else. So.
Wait, she's an associate principal?
I am.
That's cool. That's
impressive.
Awesome.
Yeah, but I only got 2 more years.
That's cool though.
You only got 2 more years, and you gonna do what?
I could get the boss energy when she speaks, bro. She has that boss lady tone, bro.
No, like I literally have 2 more years, and then our head principal is retiring, and I'm taking his job.
Okay.
And,
okay.
And I feel like I could do it because I want the perks. I'm not playing with these people. Because when I was in
how old are you, by the way? I'm just curious. How old are you?
I'll be 24.
Damn, she's young too.
What?
So what? So 2 more years.
We're the same age.
What?
We're the same age, bro.
What do you think I was old? I know. I'm sorry.
No, not like that, but you sound older. Like, I thought you were in your 30s.
I know.
Nah, she don't sound that old.
It's because I'm mature for my age. Like, I was that type of.
You have kids in it.
I was never around kids my age.
You have kids in it.
I was around the grown people. So.
I have a question. Do you have kids? Kids?
I
knew it.
I have so many kids.
Kids.
I deal with kids every day.
Kids.
I deal with kids every day. For the past 9 years, I've dealt with kids. God bless me with all those kids. They were my babies, all my kids.
You're talking about her students, man. You know how teachers talk about their students.
Yeah, I was a lovey-dovey teacher, and I was so proud of myself because there was this Miss Honey trend on TikTok, and one of my students, Jaquan, he got my initials tatted on his wrist, and I was like, oh my god, you're so. I was like, I personally would never do that.
Whoa, that's
but he was like, he was like, you're the reason why I graduated, and it's like,
I ain't gonna lie, teachers' initials on you is crazy.
It's crazy.
Well, it
kind of wild.
It was my initials, and it was a quote that I always told my students, and he was a freshman, I believe. I was teaching, and I had him. So, because I wasn't a principal all the time, I just started. So it was like, when I had him as a student, I was teaching, and I was his teacher. And Jaquan and I came a long way. We came a long way. So because Jaquan and I bumped heads a lot, you know how ignorant kids are. He was like, "Oh, you're a bitch," So we came a long way. It was a long way. Me and Jaquan came.
Hey, that's crazy. You was calling a teacher the B word and stuff.
Yeah, he told me I was being a bitch.
Hey, bro. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Nah, bro. Look, bro. I was a good kid, bro. I've always been a good kid in school, bro. Cause I know dang well that if they call my parents, bro.
You're getting the Jamaican belt, bro.
Yeah, but like I
not Jamaican, brother.
Like I miss my girl, Denasia. She was my little fighter. I remember I was teaching and a girl said she was gonna spit on me, and then like Denasia, cause my kids love me, and like Denasia stood up, she was like, "What? You're gonna spit on who?" And Denasia just like went off and started fighting her. I was like, "Oh my god!" And I had to call security. I was like, "Denasia, why would you do that?" She was like, "Cause she's not about to be disrespecting my favorite." I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Don't ever do that, please." I was like, "Don't do it." Then I had to make a whole extra packet of work and send it home. I was so pissed off. I was like, whatever. But yeah.
She got suspended then.
Well, yeah, because she initiated a fight, and then the other girl's parent was like, "Oh, well, where was the teacher?" I was like, "Girl, I was like, and I said, your child just cussed me all the way out and said I was all types of bitch and booze and all types of craziness." I was like, so.
We like to be young and playing stolen cars, broken hearts. By the time we the junior, Hey, nah, look though. Yeah, people be tripping. Yeah, no, I was never on no. I would never disrespect a teacher, never type stuff.
Yeah. But my yearbook quote, I had my yearbook quote, and I used to tell my students because I graduated from the school I work at. So I used to tell my students my yearbook quote, and he so it was my initials, and then he tatted my quote that I always tell my students, and that was the goal is not to live forever, but to create something that will. And he tattooed that on his wrist. And I said, "You go be great." And I said, "You remember that quote? The goal is not to live forever, but to create something that will." And you always remember. I was like, and I tell them that. I said, each and every one of you guys always remember that. And I was that type of teacher. You know, if nobody ever told you they loved you today, you remember that I love you. So, yeah, they were sweet though. I had good kids. You know, I just had 2 little hecklers. You feel me? So, other than that, they loved me. So,
yeah, we was all about. Yeah, bro, I did not. I was definitely a good kid in school though, cause I wasn't trying to have them ever call my parents, cause parents don't play about that stuff. I was like, yep.
yeah, yeah. I never really had like bad kids though. Like I don't, you know.
Were there cases of like? I have a question here. Were there cases of students who were like flirting with teachers and stuff? Because I feel like in those kind of environments, like it's very easy for like students to start like acting like But I get what you mean.
Well, yeah, they used to flirt with me all the time. I was young and I was pretty, so it was like a win-win. And I wasn't too far from their age, so it was like they used to. I was like, "I'm not your age though. Like I'm grown." And I remember when I had Instagram, they would like slide up on my highlights. God. They'll be DMing me. They used to be crazy, but like they never DM me on like no crazy stuff. Like they would just try to be like they would be texting me at like 1 o'clock in the morning talking about some hi, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, see, this is why y'all be so tired in school because why are you up? Because I wasn't even up.
Texting high at 1 a.m. is crazy.
Yes. But then the girls used to hype me up all the time. But the girls I could deal with more because they weren't as fresh. So.
What you mean as fresh?
The girls never really imposed anything sexual onto me in terms of like what the boys would say. Like they'll call me sexy, stuff like that. Like the girls never really. And even from a girl is different. Like I had a girl like Denisha. She used to be like, you so thick, but like it was different. I could deal with her because I know she's like a girl, so the intention is a little different. She's not saying it to mean anything. Like with a boy, it would be different, but like with a girl, it's like hyping me up, type of whatever.
You know how I get, man. I mean, we just young brothers. You know what I'm saying? They crazy to the teacher is crazy, but I mean, everybody. We get a fine teacher. I'm telling you, we find a fine teacher. We all thinking the same thing, for real, for real.
I used to be scared to go up there and teach.
They see the vision.
Like, oh my god. Because in high school, they don't think with their head; they think with their dick all day, all night. So.
I mean, that's not necessarily true. You know what I'm saying? Not all the time. Ain't nothing wrong with M. Like, bro, if you see a teacher and you think she fine, ain't nothing wrong with that. But when you start like talking out loud and saying that stuff to the teacher, that's when it's crazy. But if that's like, if you just see a teacher like, oh yeah, she bad, ain't nothing wrong with that as long as you keep it to yourself. You could talk to your friends about it too, no cap.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie though.
Johnson look good.
bro, you know them conversations how they be in high school, bro. You know how I get.
I'll never forget when there was one student. I'll never forget Jadiel like, because I taught seniors, so that's why they were that's why they thought we were like the same age. Because like, yeah, I'm turning 18 and I'm grown, and I'm like, oh my god, please. So Jadiel had me to go to prom, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, you're
so
like,
he did what?
Asked me to go to prom.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was like, there's something wrong with you. I said, I'll be at prom, but I'm not going with you. I was like, I'm not going with you. But yeah, they're cool kids. Like they're not really like I'm that lovable person, so like they weren't like disrespectful or anything like that. Sometimes like you got to teach them about boundaries. Like I let boys know. Like I said, yeah, like let it slide because a lot of things what you guys say and do. I'm supposed to write you up